Okay, shooting available light. You don't always need studio lights to get a good stock shot. So what we're going to do here is kind of try and prove that by getting a nice gritty black and white shot of me working on a weight bench. I'm not wearing a vest today because it's too cold, that's why I've got thermals on. So I'm just going to try and take a quick shot using available light that's coming into the garage here. But as you can probably see, it's very dark at the back, but there's just enough light falling on the weight bench in the front to get a good stock shot. Now what we've done here is we've set up a couple of shots already, and the settings we've got the weight bench just back enough so that the light isn't too bright, but we've got it with just enough light on it so that it'll give us a good reading. Now the way I've set the camera up is I'm on manual. I'm on 125th of a second shutter speed, which is good enough to capture any movement from me. I'm on aperture f2, I think. Let me just check. Sorry, I'm on aperture f2.8. And we're on autofocus so that when I sit down there, I'm doing it all myself without an assistant, so it will automatically focus on the bench and me. And I'm also on auto ISO. Now with the Canon 5D Mark II, that will only go to 400 ISO, which I've already tested and it works out quite well. So we've got 125th, f2.8, which is a good enough shutter to kill the background, a good enough aperture to give a good depth of field, a good shallow depth of field, and ISO 400 is still good enough to not have any grain in the photo. So we're going to take a couple of photos just using those settings for now, just to see if there's enough available light coming onto me to create a good kind of shot of me maybe pulling some dumbbells for a fitness shot, that kind of thing. And then we're going to have a look at them on the computer to see if we can get them to a nice gritty black and white shot. I've also got the Canon timer here, the TC80N3, set to take one photo every 3 seconds. So again, if you're working alone, it's worth getting something like this because then you can just take the photos, keep firing away, doing different poses, different setups until you're good. Obviously, you're better off just getting a proper model to do this kind of shot, but I'm doing this for the illustration of the tutorials. So I'm going to set the camera running. It's going to focus on there, and I'm going to set it running. So to take one photo every 3 seconds, and we're going to just try that, see how it comes out. Now for the shot, I'm just going to remove the microphone from here and put it onto my waist. Hopefully you can still hear me. And we're just going to take a couple of shots, just simple shots, using a dumbbell, see how it goes. Doesn't matter, I'm not very good at posing, by the way. What you can do to add effect is also to spray maybe your face with water, or spray the model's face with water. That'll do for now, to give the impression of sweating, but we're going to have a look at those. But there's something else I want to try first, and that is to combine ambient light, the light coming from outside, the natural light that's hitting the bench, with another light hitting me from the side, because I've got dark clothes on and it's dark behind. I want myself to stand out, so I've set up a modelling light at the back there, just to the left of the weight bench, and I'm going to turn that on and just see if that adds any effect to the shot. So I'm just going to turn that on. And what I'm hoping it's going to do is add some detail down to the right side of my body so that I stand out a bit better from the background, and also to my face. So let's now set that one running and see what we get from that. So the same shots again, I'll do one with this arm. Then one with the other arm, from the other side. Hopefully it's focusing on me. Right, I don't know how to pose for those, so what we're going to do is get those onto a computer and see what kind of results we got, and see if they're worth either keeping colour or converting to a really kind of gritty and contrasty black and white shot. So we'll see you on the computer in a second. Okay, we're now in Lightroom, Lightroom 2, and I've got two of the photos loaded that we've just taken. Now, the one on the left is one shot without using the light, it's just using available light. The one on the right is where we've added the light inside to give some detail down the side. You can see it's made a huge difference straight away. So what we're going to do is just quickly work on these. I mean, at the moment I quite like them in colour, and they probably would pass muster as stock photos for colour shots. But as I said, I want to work on these in black and white. So we're going to just have a look and see what we can actually develop these as. So we're in the library at the moment. If we go into develop mode, you can see there it's quite a nice rich contrasty image as it is, and this is straight out of camera. So the 5D Mark II's done a great job. Please excuse my trainers, by the way. They were black, they were nice, but I took them to Africa and we painted a school out there, and they've become quite dirty, but it may add to the grungy effect, you never know. But again, this is just for tutorial purposes. So we've got the photo there. I want to add a little bit of detail to the background, so I'm just going to use the fill light ever so slightly to add a bit of touch. You can see there the background's just slightly coming through. Now I'm trying to get these bikes to come out a little bit to show it's kind of a fitness shot. What I probably would do if I was really getting this ready for stock is to actually get rid of that fridge in the background, maybe clone this right down, dull it out and that kind of thing, but we're just going to work on this quickly. I'm going to add a little bit of contrast to the shot because we're going to convert this to black and white. As I said, it looks good in colour, but I'm going to add it, change it to black and white to see what kind of effect we got. So a little bit more contrast. Let's do a little bit more exposure. Actually, we'll leave the exposure as it is, but at the moment I'm quite happy with that. So what we're going to do is convert it to black and white, and I'm going to use some of Kubota's presets. They're Lightroom presets, and they're only about $49, I think, and they're worth getting if you use Lightroom. So let's use, I want a black and white contrasty shot. Let's have a look. What have we got here? I like the contrast, contrast heavy. Let's, no, that's not black and white. Hang on a sec. Let's have a look. There's loads you can choose from. Let's go for black and white high contrast. It's actually one of the Lightroom presets that comes with Lightroom. You can see there already we've got a very high contrasty shot, and the sharpness is good on the photo, so I'm quite happy with that. Now that I've converted that, if I had a bit more fill light, it should bring up some of those details in the background without overblowing the other details. So already there we've got good details without blowing the highlights. Everything looks quite good, nice shot. So what I'm actually going to do now is just add, again from Kubota's Lightroom presets, Vignette Maximus, just to add a, see how that affected the bottom down here. If we revert back, you can see how overpowering and bright that is at the front. If we just hit that again, you can see how it's darkened all of that and given it a really kind of good grungy effect. So at the moment, that shot to me looks exactly as I was going for, the exact effect I was going for, just using available light. We've killed all the background, we've got a good punchy contrasty shot, and for me that would probably do for stock. It's sharp, it's good. As I said, I would probably upload a colour shot and a black and white shot, but I hope you're understanding here the kind of effect I was going for, the grungy, dark, black and white, high contrast shot of using weights, and even the dirty trainers add to the effect, even a bit of dirt on my knee there from where I've been kneeling down in the garage. But that looks pretty good to me, I'm quite happy with that. So let's go back to the second shot where we've actually got some light in it. If we load this up and then go to develop mode, we'll do the same again. Now as a shot as it stands, it's not too bad, but we could work on the colour contrast, we could work on the white balance, get it looking a lot better for a colour shot. But as I said, I wanted this to be black and white, so I'm just going to turn the photo slightly using the crop tool just to get it absolutely straight, and double click to get that. I'm going to bring the exposure down ever so slightly because of the light hitting me on the side, and I'm also going to increase the blacks to make it a bit more contrasty, and also the contrast just to make it more punchy. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to use the presets again. This time I'm going to use, let's have a look, black and white Baba Boom. Let's see what that does. That's pretty good. Looks like a nice grungy effect. The background's just about blurred enough. Quite like that. We're going to add a bit of sharpness because for this shot I think I just missed the focus on the shot. But obviously if you've got someone working with you or you've got the time, you take a number of shots and pick the best ones for stock. And then I'm going to add once again the vignette. You can either do this in Lightroom. If you've got these Lightroom presets, they're great. If not, you can obviously do it in Photoshop. So let's use Maximus again, and you can see it's darkened all the outside where it was a bit overkill on the light from the outside. So once again we've got a pretty good shot there. Let's add a bit more contrast to that. You can actually add as much contrast as you want depending on the kind of look you're going for, but that's kind of what I was looking for, just to get some detail down the side of the face. And obviously this arm I'd like to work on a bit better to get some more contrast. But once again you've got a pretty good shot there. So if we look at both of those in the library, you can see there the difference of having just natural light and having normal light with, or natural light with a light inside, adding a bit of fill light as well. So that shot I'm pretty happy with. You can see the effect we got there, pure natural light, just a camera and a 50mm lens set to f2.8 and 125th of a second, and we got to ISO 400, so you can see the settings up there. Very simple to do. All you need is one camera, one lens and natural light, and it was actually a very overcast day as well, so we've done quite well there. Very happy with that shot. The next one, once again, settings ISO 400, 50mm lens, f2.8, 125th of a second. Very simple, very cheap to do, but once again you've got a really good grungy looking shot. Now that could sell as stock for maybe using on a gym wall, a poster, that kind of thing, or a fitness magazine. I'm not saying I'm a fantastic model, but if you did get proper models to do this sort of thing, you could give them a free set of shots for being a model for the day or half a day, and give them a disc of images, no problem, and also tell them when the shot's being used. So if you don't want to do the shot yourself, just hire someone else, go out and find someone, use a friend, use family, and get the shots. But I'm hoping that has really taught you how to make the most of available light when doing stock photography. You don't need tons and tons of equipment. You can do it with just the basic gear and end up with some cracking shots. So give that a go, have a practice, and then if you've got Lightroom, obviously use some of the presets. Get hold of Kubota's presets, we'll have a link at the end. But also try this in Photoshop or whatever editing software you've got, but go for that kind of look. I hope that helps, and we'll see you on the next video.